Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week. Tourist destinations aren't known for being dangerous, at least for the most part. And that's for a reason. You don't go on vacation to worry whether you're gonna die or not. Vacationing is an opportunity to let loose and forget about life's struggles for a minute. Yet, for some tourist destinations, letting your guard down is the last thing you want to do. It's just too risky that watching your every step is an absolute necessity. Here they are, 10 most dangerous tourist destinations in the world. Number 10. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This park in the US state of Hawaii is known for Kilauea, one of the most active volcanoes on the planet. The volcano has been erupting almost non-stop since 1983, but it became more aggressive in 2018. An increase in the magma was the first sign of trouble. A subsequent 5.0 magnitude earthquake set the mountain off, blowing ash and lava into the air. The park boasted of several hiking trails that were also closed due to the constant threat of flying volcanic material. Today, Kilauea has toned down in volcanic activity, but it remains a threat, to some extent, to hiking enthusiasts on the island. The park has since opened to the general public, but some of the trails are still closed off for safety reasons. Away from the park, the lava also flows into the sea. As spectacular as it may seem, you're better off enjoying the view from a distance rather than trying to get close. Number 9. Devil's Pool, Zambia. The Devil's Pool is situated right on top of the famous Victoria Falls. In this pool, tourists can swim up to the edge of the cliff as the water crashes down a few feet away, an ultimate experience that is sure to get the adrenaline pumping. According to the Zambia tourism website, the pool has a rock barrier that is just enough to stop swimmers from plunging with the waterfall. The rock is, apparently, so high that going over will require considerable effort on the swimmer's part. So the pool seems safe from that perspective, but considering its risky position, it's easy to see how things could go wrong really quick. Zambia Tourism opens the pool to the public between August and January when the water levels are a bit low. Even then, the water levels are still monitored just in case they become too high to potentially push swimmers over the cliff. Additionally, there is always a guide on site for visitors. Outside the August to January period, swimming in the pool is prohibited as the waters are high enough to send people hurtling down the 100-meter cliff. Number 8. Mount Everest, Nepal. Mount Everest is undoubtedly one of the planet's most known physical features. That's only natural. Jutting out to a height of over 8,800 meters, it's the highest point on Earth. As such, it has attracted and continues to attract thousands of mountain climbing enthusiasts every year. Getting to the summit is an adventure, one that has seen a fair share of disasters over the years. To this day, around 300 people have died on the mighty Everest. The causes of death are varied, with avalanches being the leading killers. Other causes include falling, frostbite, general exhaustion, and altitude sickness, among others. Scores have also been injured while attempting the seemingly perilous climb. The worst tragedy in the history of the mountain remains to be the one that took place in 2015. In the earthquake-triggered avalanche, a record of 20 died and scores of others were left injured. The tragedy also saw climbing activities put on hold for the rest of that year, a first in more than 4 decades. Number 7. Cliffs of Moher, Ireland. Bordering the Atlantic coast, these cliffs are among the most popular tourist sites in Ireland. At the highest point, they measure over 200 meters and allow spectacular views of Aran Islands, Loop Head, 12 Pins, and Momturks mountain ranges. It's no surprise that the cliffs pull in an estimated 1.5 million visitors every year. But the breathtaking views come with a fair share of danger. A single slip and you'll be airborne, tumbling into the Atlantic 200 meters below. To prevent such an unfortunate event, visitors are encouraged to stay on the official path. Moving too close to the edge can mean standing on a patch of land that might not be supported from below, since the cliffs erode from the bottom up. There have been reported incidences of parts of the cliffs suddenly collapsing into the ocean, like in 2010. Luckily, there was no one too close to the edge. Also, the winds on the cliff tend to be pretty strong and unpredictable. In 2006, for example, a woman was swept into the Atlantic by a sudden gust of strong winds. Number 6. Yosemite Half Dome, USA. Half Dome in Yosemite Valley, California, rises about 1,400 meters from the valley floor. It's quite a popular hiking spot, with as many as 1,000 people per day going up the rock formation. Usually, it'll take the whole day to hike to the topmost part of the dome, but most hikers prefer to camp as they go along, so it's common for hikes to drag on for 2 or more days. But the most challenging part of the hike is not really the distance. The real challenge lies in the last 400 meters of the climb. Here, hikers have to go up in an almost vertical position to the top of the dome. Granted, the hiking trail is fitted with ladder-like metal cables that at least make it easier to climb, but there's still the high likelihood of falling off, and we all know the outcome of tumbling down from such a height. But even if you're super careful not to slip, the dome perfectly sticks out from the surrounding area, and that makes it very susceptible to lightning. The last such incident was in 1985, where lightning killed 2 and injured 3 others. That's why the National Park Service has stringent guidelines to protect thrill seekers from a repeat of the same. It's probably the only reason why there haven't been as many incidents. Number 5. Donakill Depression, Ethiopia. The Donakill Depression ranks high among adventure seekers. That's thanks to a blend of colors that become apparent when salty water reacts with minerals in the surrounding area. A combination of orange, red, yellow, green, and blue has an obvious aesthetic appeal. But that's only if you ignore the harsh conditions that come with it. For starters, Donakill is a wasteland. Water is scarce, and the temperature is among the highest on the planet at around 50 degrees Celsius. But it's this temperature that provides picturesque salt crusts that are a source of livelihood for the local Afar people. Walking on these crusts requires caution, as some of them are delicate and unstable, so knowing where to step is extremely important. And taking a dip into one of the lakes is the worst idea you could think of. The water here is at 100 degrees Celsius most of the time and highly acidic. On the other hand, the area is home to a horde of active volcanoes that spew out poisonous fumes. This, of course, does little to help with Donakill's reputation of being a wasteland. No worries though, an experienced guide is all you need to keep you from falling victim to one of the mentioned hazards. Number 4. Death Valley, USA. Death Valley is another popular place for being among the hottest places on Earth. The 56 degrees Celsius that was recorded in the valley is the highest in history. There have been doubts about its authenticity though, but that's beside the point. The most recent readings of 54 degrees Celsius in the area is still the highest atmospheric temperature ever. So the very obvious hazard here for tourists is the excessive heat that can well lead to severe dehydration or heat stroke. Luckily, there aren't very many incidences of heat-related fatalities in the valley. According to the management, just about 1 or 2 people die from the extremely high temperatures. In 2014, one of the dead was David Logano of Harry Potter's fame. Perhaps the laid-down rules have helped keep the numbers down. Staying on paved roads, not hiking in the midday sun, and drinking a gallon of water per day are some of the precautions visitors are expected to adhere to. Still, you can't deny the potential danger of dropping dead from heat exposure. I mean, the 2 annual deaths could be anyone. Number 3. Chernobyl, Ukraine. The Chernobyl disaster of 1986 remains one of the worst nuclear accidents in human history. Much of the area surrounding the power plant was evacuated and has remained so for the longest time. The effect of this emptiness is an eerie atmosphere that seems appealing to many thrill seekers. According to the company in charge of organizing trips to the site, bookings went over the roof when the Chernobyl miniseries premiered on HBO in 2019. The risk of radiation is unnaturally high, so visitors have to adhere to some safety precautions while touring the area. For instance, you must be accompanied by a guide so you don't end up walking directly into radiation hotspots. Visitors are also encouraged from placing anything on the ground lest they come into contact with contaminated soil.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. NonDon Jungle Safari, India. This tourist spot in Raipur, India boasts of 4 safaris, namely herbivore, bear, tiger, and lion. In all of these, visitors have an up-close interaction with the respective animals. This is facilitated by a tour vehicle driven at low speeds on the designated safari roads. The tigers are known to be a curious lot and can always be seen peeping through the mesh on the vehicle. They've also been recorded to chase after the touring vehicles. Of course, there is a considerable danger for this kind of behavior, but no notable incidents have been reported. Still, it's a bit scary to think of what could happen if anything went wrong with the protective mesh around the tour vehicle.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works.
Number 1. Valley of Death, Russia. The Valley of Death in the Kamchatka Peninsula is exactly what its name suggests, a death trap for any living thing. Discovered in the 1930s, the valley stood out as this strange piece of land dotted with endless animal corpses. Legend has it that 2 hunters chanced upon the valley and were immediately surprised by the numerous dead animals, so they went in to investigate. But a few minutes into their little assignment had them experiencing strong headaches, and that's when they decided to leave. Turns out that was a bright idea. Dozens of scientific expeditions followed, which saw some of those involved succumb in the valley. According to research, the valley is filled with a mix of poisonous volcanic gases released during the spring when the snow melts. The valley is confined from winds, so the toxic gases can't be dispersed, so they accumulate to toxic levels, killing any living thing that ventures into the area. For safety, the valley is out of bounds to visitors, but it can be viewed from a distance on a special observation deck. A helicopter tour of the area is also available to those with a few more dollars to spare.